Hey everyone, Brian here, Hodges1455, coming at you with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my Pokemon card collection. And I've been a collector for over 25 years now. And this is the Grass Chopper themed deck. This is the first ever Pokemon box I ever got. And you would open it up, and there'd be some Pokemon cards inside. And then there's a little gap there for them to stick in some rule books and stuff. This was the advanced rule book version 1, the version 2, and then this was also included inside. And I've always been all things cards. When I moved right before high school, I didn't have anyone to trade cards with in my area. And I only ended up finding one kid to trade cards with, and he only collected Frank Thomas cards, so it made it kind of difficult. It was a drastic change from what I was used to where I was growing up. And I'm just going to share these cards as I share my story on how I got into collecting Pokemon cards. So at church, there was a couple of kids, boys my age, and they were all into video games. None of them were into collecting cards. But a couple years passed, and I found a kid a couple years ago, or a couple years younger than me, rather, who said, "No, I don't have any sports cards, but I collect Pokemon cards." And I had no experience with them. And I was like, all right, great, because I'm all about everything cards. So I set up a time to go over to his house and learn how to play. So I stopped and picked up the starter set and went over to his house to learn how to play. And we set up in his kitchen that overlooked his backyard. He had a big old door with a huge glass pane in it so we could see his fenced-in backyard. Had a big old nice trampoline out back. And as we were talking through how to play the game, I kept glancing out back at that big old trampoline. And I kept glancing at it, and he was almost done. The poor kid was almost done teaching me how to play the game. And he said, "Do you want to just go out and play on the trampoline?" And I jumped out of my seat, and we went outside and played outside, and we just had a blast. We never actually ended up playing the game, but that is how I ended up with all these cards, and I just think they are so cool. There's some energy cards. Bunch of energy here. Much more energy. But just the artwork on some of these are just really fun to look at. And I appreciate all cards. Anything card related, I am into. But that was the story on how I ended up collecting Pokemon cards. Just a kid in my youth group, a couple years younger than me, decided to pick some up, learn how to play. And before I even got done learning how to play, ADHD kicked in, and we just had a blast on his trampoline in his backyard. It's kind of funny, I do not remember this many cards being in the set. There's a lot of cards in here. A bunch of energy. This is the last stack here. Some more energy. It's just kind of fun to go through these every once in a while. Just remember the memory of being a kid. There's one behind there. Another trainer card. Mysterious fossil. Kind of a cool image. Fossil egg. That's pretty cool. And it's kind of funny, if I didn't have this set, or these cards in my collection, I'd still want to go out and get at least one from the set. Just to have an example of the TCG Pokemon card in my collection. Because I like to collect all things cards. Miracle Berry. Looks like there are some doubles in here. It's kind of fun to know these aren't too much unlike regular sports card packs. You can end up with doubles. And last card here. Well, hey everyone, thanks so much for watching and enjoy the hobby.